Trigg County Hospital. Close to home, close to your heart.
1580 103.3 WPKY. And of course, kicking off Coffee Talk this morning. The way we like to do it is with the Kids Pledge. We do it each and every day to kick off Coffee Talk. And it's a different kid from the area every single time. Or maybe we'll replay one here or there. But you know how you get your kid on there to be the star for the day? All you have to do is let them record their Pledge of Allegiance on our answering machine. Really couldn't be any easier. You can always record those and email them to us as well, but you can also just leave them on the answering machine. 270-963-9155. Just make sure you tell us what their little names are and maybe how old they are and what school they go to. We'd love to feature them as a star for the day here on PKY. So here we go. Everybody stand up, stand up. Get up, get up, get up, get up. It's time for the pledge. Let's go, kids.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, farmer family. Bless their hearts. That's the farmers and their 4 children. Bless their heart. I'll tell you, it doesn't get much better than that, is to hear the kids reciting things like that. And I bet Brother Presley Lamb has heard a kid or two recite a Bible verse at some point.
Absolutely.
I figured.
Can't hear that enough either.
Oh, I know. I'll tell you, Miss Ellie gets on here and does that kind of stuff every once in a while. I love hearing the kids recite things like that.
Absolutely. I love it too.
Of course, Brother Presley Lamb in Fredonia First Baptist Church, and we love him when he comes on. And you've got a busy week this week, young man.
Heck yeah, it's going to be a great week, though. I'd rather be busy and get things done than sit around and not have anything to do, huh?
Well, I'll tell you guys have always been, before I get into the day of prayer, you guys have always been big on really serving your community and from anything from free meals to the food bank and that sort of thing. How is the food bank going during all of this?
It has been unbelievable, the way God has used both the food bank and the meals we've been sending out twice a week, with the donations and different churches helping with it and helping prepare desserts and delivering the meals. And it's been an unbelievable sight to watch people come together and get things done for the Lord.
Well, is your food bank, are you needing help with that? Does it look like you're pretty good and the shelves are stocked?
The shelves are stocked. Of course, we are, we're not publicly funded in any way, and it's just been a miracle, really. People have dropped off canned goods and meat and different things, and of course, we could always use help with that.
Right.
We put a Facebook message out about a month ago and had people, just bring by whatever they can, sit out in front of Coleman Hall, and we've just been blessed.
Well, I'll tell you, I don't think I've ever seen any other community come together like Fredonia can. Princeton and Fredonia, Caldwell County as a whole, I don't think I've ever seen a community anywhere I've ever been that can really come together like they can. And, especially for something right now, you and I have talked a lot about in the past about the power of prayer and the power, or the hope that it gives you in so many ways. The Bible talks about, having where 2 or 3 are, So when we talk about National Day of Prayer, you guys are spread out all over the place here on Thursday, right?
We are. And, we're thankful for the technology that we have, that we can, we all can be together, even though we're not physically together.
Right.
And that's another lesson that I think all the churches have learned, the capabilities that we truly have through the technology that's been given to us. So.
Well, I'll tell you, it's you're doing better than I am, because I don't know that I have figured out this Zoom thing as well as some people have. But you guys are going to be, so you're going to be praying for Fredonia, though. That's where you're going to be, right?
I'm going to be praying, actually designated to pray for churches.
Oh, okay.
And I will be in Fredonia, obviously, but Harold has got this thing together, and it's going to be on the HR Ministries Facebook page. And we have several. I don't know how many of us there are, but we're praying for just different parts of our community, churches and government, family, businesses, military, and so on and so forth. Corrections, Department of Corrections, and all the frontline responders. Basically, we're going to be praying for their safety and faithfulness through this difficult but enlightening at the same time.
Right.
This crazy time we're in now.
Well, and when I looked it up the other day, I think there was 11 totaled at that point, and I don't know whether he's added any more or not. But I thought it was really impactful between, one at the even one of our magistrates, Magistrate Boone, being a part of that. You know, when you think about the different people around, one in front of the hospital, one at the courthouse, one over at of course you're going to be in Fredonia, one at the police station. I mean, just at different places throughout. You know, really focusing on different areas.
Yeah, it's great, and like you said, to have a community that's willing to come together and pray for each other. You know, there's plenty of people to divide us, and we need to focus on coming together and focusing on what's important right now.
Well, and I know in years past, they've kind of handled day of prayer in a different way, and we've all done things a little. I think I can remember a day of prayer where we took shifts at the church and that sort of thing, praying. This year is definitely going to be probably the most different of all the different. I mean, this is definitely out of the box this year. But I think it's so cool that things like this on a big scale are kind of born out of necessity.
Yes, you're absolutely right. The Lord's teaching us so many things through this, and I just pray that everybody, pays attention and sees that the frontline workers have always been essential. We're just now giving them credit for what they've always been willing to do.
Isn't that funny how, well, I guess it's not funny. It's really, truly, it's sad that we don't really think about, even what people that were essential, what that word really meant.
Absolutely. You're right. It's focused our attention, and I hope that we, even after things begin to get back to normal, I pray that our new normal will be a more appreciation for those that make everyday life available and possible the way we know it.
Well, I think, even when we talk about the new normal, and what that looks like. And, let's talk about that for a second. For First Baptist Church in Fredonia, what does that look like? When you're, available to actually get together more, what does that look like? Have you all discussed that?
We have, and I think right now it's still partly up in the air. We really don't know what the new normal is going to look like, down the road. Now, obviously, we know on the 20th, we're going to take precautions, and church will definitely be different in the way that we meet for a long time, and it needs to be.
Right.
But I also think it's motivated us to see the needs of our community and focus on getting those things done, and making sure people that are hungry. The gospel has become clear that when people are hungry, they need to be fed. If they need clothing, they need to be clothed, and it just kind of focuses our attention on the things that need to be done.
Well, even down to the bars of soap, and Mayor Seibert has really made sure that they even kept the bars of soap, stay as far as being, plenty of them there, even at City Hall. Yeah,
he's done a great job, and like you said earlier, Fredonia is a unique place. Caldwell County is a great place to live, and it's just great to. It's great to be a part of something that God's doing, and I just pray people step back and notice all the things that are going on.
Well, and for those who haven't heard about your devotion time, remind everybody about that as well.
Well, and that's another one of those things that God put on my heart, and I contacted a couple of friends that are pastors, and it just kind of steamrolled from there. And it's every night at 7:00, and our Facebook page, Fredonia First Baptist Facebook page, would direct you to someone that has devotion every night at 7:00. And I certainly appreciate all the guys that have that have helped with that in teaching and giving some of their time.
Well, and there's been so many of them from this area that's done it. I don't think that there's just about any of them that haven't done it. But that, in my opinion, is so neat. The way they've all kind of shared that responsibility, I think, is so cool. So
absolutely.
I kudos to you. Right before the kids go to bed, I don't think there's much better time than that. And I know several that look forward to it every evening.
Well, I certainly look forward to it every evening, for sure.
Well, bless your heart. If you haven't heard, his name is Brother Presley Lamb, and he's from Fredonia First Baptist Church. And we appreciate you talking to us this morning and giving us an update on First Baptist there in Fredonia and what you all are doing and how the food bank is going. And if they've got any questions, if they have a need, how do they get a hold of you?
They can get a hold of us on the Facebook page, of course. I'll have a private message or just post something on the Facebook page, or they can call the church at 270-545-3401. And we'll be glad to get back with them, help them any way we can.
All right. Thank you so much, Brother Presley. We appreciate it.
God bless you, Tess. Thanks for having me.
Have a good one. And we love him, but he comes on anytime we ever ask and gives us updates and helps us out, and we appreciate that. Of course, Brother Presley Lamb, again, from Fredonia First Baptist Church right there in Fredonia. Stick around. We've got an interesting guy coming up, Mr. Massey. He's going to hopefully, I'll tell you, I don't see how he keeps it all lined out, but hopefully he's going to help line us out. How about that? That's coming up next on Coffee Talk on PKY.
Hi, it's Jenny from Big Deals, and here's a reminder from a mom for you. Mother's Day is this Sunday, and this mom is here to tell you that I love gift certificates from Big Deals. Certificates for dining, entertainment, and a whole lot more. And if you purchase today, your Big Deal store is offering you an additional 15% off your entire purchase. Just use the promo code MOM. Today, and today only, save big from Big Deals.
Click on Loyal Listener Big Deals at WPKYonline.com.
Is it time to give your home a facelift? Enter the Home Rejuvenation Giveaway at WPKYonline.com. And you could win a prize package of over $2,800 from these great sponsors: Kaufman Home Decor, Westerfield Builders, Gracious Me, Herb Hayes Furniture, Lee Building Products, DJ's Flooring, the Design Center at Casey Mill, and Pennaroyal Interiors. It's the Home Rejuvenation Giveaway. Enter today at WPKYonline.com. Contest ends May 31st.
At Pennyrile Electric, we're helping to build the leaders of tomorrow today. This year, Pennyrile Electric will present 12 $1,000 scholarships to let students in our service area shine to their fullest potential and become guiding lights for future generations. Scholarships will be awarded to students enrolling in 2- or 4-year college programs and vocational and technical training. Scholarship applications are available at each of our locations, or you can download the app at precc.com. That's precc.com.
At First Southern National Bank, we place a high value on the well-being of our customers and communities. With that in mind, we are taking steps that demonstrate how much we care about you. Our drive-through lanes will be available for daily needs, while in-person services can be scheduled by appointment. Take advantage of our online banking, our mobile banking app, and a friendly team member answering your call. Visit fsnb.net to learn more. First Southern National Bank, member FDIC.
WPKY Weather Center forecast for today. I'll tell you, I really thought this rain was going to be out of here by now. I don't know. I don't know exactly to tell you what it's going to do at this point. It looks like the rain and the clouds are just going to be scattered and spotty in nature, and it looks like they're going to hang out till around noon instead of being out of here by 9 o'clock. We're just kind of extending that the longer it wants to hang out. And the temp may be pushing it to 67. It's going to have a hard time getting there today, but that's where it's supposed to end up at. Of course, this afternoon, high is 67. Tonight, 20% chance of showers, low 43. Tomorrow, sunshine and 61. Thursday, again, rinse, repeat, mostly sunny. Other than that, high 67. Then on Friday, gully washer. It's going to roll right in us on Friday and really dampen any plans that you've got. High 62. And then that forecast will dry up. Beautiful weekend is what we've got in store. Of course, highs in the low to mid 60s all weekend long. We are at 60, and it's really and truly where we started out at, believe it or not. At about 3:30 this morning, it was only 60. So 851, 1580, 103.3 WPKY.
Your WPKY Weather Edge Weather Center forecast is brought to you by Kay's Kitchen.
Okay, 1580, 103.3 WPKY. And of course, on the phone this morning, I've looked forward to talking to this guy right here. Of course, it's the Caldwell County attorney. Hello, Mr. Massey. How are you?
Good morning. How are you?
I'm good. I'll tell you. Well, I would be much better if these clouds would, behave themselves.
Me and you both.
I'll tell you. They were supposed to be gone by 8.
Well, we've had some good weather here lately. I can't complain too much.
I know. I'm a woman, so I can. You see, that's a female thing. We can fuss when we want to. Of course, Roy Massey is our Caldwell County attorney, and we appreciate him so much for giving us a holler this morning because, between, I think I told you the other day, the courts and what we are supposed to do, aren't doing, and who's doing what, it is so confusing.
It very much is, Tess. We are in some unique and trying times with our judicial system right now due to the corona pandemic, like many others. We're in situations we've never foresaw and we've never had before, so it's very unique, to say the least.
Well, and how are you dealing with that as far as your clients and things that you need to do and because how many meetings go into just one visit to court, and I can't imagine.
Well, usually we have court on Mondays and Thursdays. We have a large gathering of people. It's always done in person. We usually have about 45 to 60 new cases each Monday and approximately 20 to 30 cases on our Thursday's docket. And, of course, that's not happened for some time due to the Supreme Court orders that were issued, I think March 16th is the first directive that we've gotten. Since that date, we've had no in-court hearings whatsoever. We were directed and mandated by the Supreme Court that everything had to be done via video and audio, so we've complied with those mandates. Our local judges have done a very good job. Our clerk's office is doing a good job of maintaining our docket. But as of right now, we've had a Zoom court every Monday for about 30 minutes to an hour and a half, and we've had those hearings that are mandated that involve individuals that are incarcerated, have certain constitutional rights about preliminary hearings, but everything else has been postponed or delayed, for lack of better terms, to sometime in June. We have probably 120 to 130 cases that haven't been heard at all as of right now due to this pandemic. So we have a lot of cases that are backlogged, that are waiting to be addressed, and have a lot of work upcoming in the next few months.
Well, and I know some people would say, that benefits you because it gives you more time to prepare. But in the long run, if you're the person that needs to be seen and you're waiting for this thing to be over with, that can really take a toll.
You're exactly right. These individuals have certain rights. They're entitled to attorneys to be appointed. If they can't afford those attorneys, they're entitled to talk to those individuals, get legal advice. And, of course, those things are hard to do over a phone or over a Zoom hearing. They can be accomplished, but they're definitely more difficult and definitely more tedious. And those, like you said earlier, these cases don't get resolved usually on the first day. We have criminal arraignments. You can enter a guilty plea or not guilty plea. I'd say the vast majority of our cases enter a not guilty plea. And then we go from there, having conversations with their attorney if they're appointed one, having pretrial conference dates, maybe speaking with the judge, having an evidentiary hearing. So these things drag out for weeks and sometimes even months. For instance, we've had 6 jury trials during this short time frame that were scheduled to be held. Those have all been postponed to a June date or a later date, and those individuals have rights to a jury trial and a court hearing, and we're waiting to have those as well.
Wow. You and I had talked before, and we said, even not being able to see someone's facial expressions and different things like that is different. And I got to thinking after we talked, oh my goodness, even evidence.
Oh, you're exactly right. over a Zoom hearing, of course, you have your little squares on a computer screen, and you can see what everyone's doing to a limited extent. But it's hard, when you have an officer call in that's giving testimony and being cross-examined, to see their facial, expressions, their reactions, their body language. You really just can't get those things through a Zoom hearing or definitely through a telephone call. So that's all changed dramatically as well.
I'll tell you, I don't see how you do it. In the back of our minds, a lot of us picture, Mr. Massey, our county attorney, as like a movie star in a way, because, we watch these lawyer shows on TV.
Well,
and of course, it's all accurate, right?
Well, it's definitely not as exciting as it appears to be on TV. We'll probably bore you to death if you ever want to show up to court after this all passes over. But I do miss court. I miss being in court behind the podium, talking to my judges, talking to defense attorneys, talking to clients. It's really gave everyone, I think, a great appreciation of conducting business in person. I do think there's been small things that we have learned during this time that can be used later on. We can have some Zoom hearings, for small hearings that aren't too important to be accomplished without transporting people. But, most of our business, the court system, there's just something about shaking someone's hand, sitting down at a table, working out a case. And, of course, we haven't been able to do that for approximately 2 months. When this thing started, the Supreme Court issued their first order, I think that was March 16th, and that order was run through April 10th. So we thought, April 10th, we can handle that. We'll be done. Business back to normal. Well, that order was amended approximately 8 times, and now, of course, we can't do anything through May 31st. And we're hoping that May 31st date will be the last date, and then we can start some type of normalcy come sometime the 1st of June.
So what do the people that, that you represent that were supposed to be seen, a couple of months ago, what do they do?
Well, to be completely honest, they're simply waiting to get their new court date. Our clerk's office has done a great job of managing an ever-changing docket. We tell people anymore when they call, if you have a question about your court date, make a phone call. We'll call them and see, when your upcoming court date is going to be. Now, we have had some hearings and some cases, and our judges are hearing some matters that are emergency in nature. If it's a domestic violence case, if it's emergency custody orders, things of that nature, they will hear some cases, but they're very, very limited. The other individuals, like you mentioned, for lack of better terms, are simply waiting, like most of us are, to see when they can be in front of the court. And we all know the wheels of justice don't turn fast anyway, so this has really put a damper on our caseload.
Well, and sometimes you don't want it to go fast. We don't want to, miss those steps. And, I don't want you to rush through. I want you to have plenty of time to see my case. And I think one of the reasons why I wanted to talk to you is I think you have a really good way of explaining things and dealing with people and not talking over their heads. And you've always, in my opinion, you've always been really well versed in that.
Well, I appreciate that. We've got a ton of phone calls over the past couple of months, and we sympathize with people's frustrations because we're frustrated as well. We want to get back to work. The county attorney's office has been open and staffed since this all started, but we can't do what we are normally doing on a day in, day out basis. Our child support office is staffed and opened, but once again, a lot of our daily activities involve meeting with someone, doing information intakes. And once again, those things are hard to do over the phone and through mailing out documents and then receiving that mail back and waiting for it to be cleansed before you open it up. So it's really put a damper on our time frame in that regard as well. So we're as frustrated as anyone else. Our judges, I think I can speak for them, they're frustrated. Our clerk's office is frustrated. We would all like to get back to normalcy.
I didn't even think about cleansing the mail.
Yeah. Mail comes in, we've had our post office. They've been great to work with. They put it in a drop box outside, and we go outside and pick it up because our judicial system is closed to the public through a Supreme Court mandate. Small things like that we didn't think about when this first started have been difficult tasks just to receive your mail each day.
Isn't that crazy? I wouldn't have even thought about that.
Yes. So it's been eye-opening to everyone, I believe.
And especially your staff too that works with you. I mean, you're not the Lone Ranger. You've got a Tonto or two there with you, huh?
And my staff, I can't commend them enough. They've been great. They came in each day. They've, our court docket right now, like I said, I think we have approximately 120 to 130 cases that haven't been heard at all. But when those cases come in, we prep those cases like we're going to hear them on a Monday like normal. We have offers ready. We have evidence prepared. We've made notations on each of those cases. So they're ready to go once the court opens back up, so we will not be behind in that regard. We maintained our subpoenas, issuing those to officers, retracting those subpoenas when dates change. So I can't brag on my office staff enough during this pandemic.
Well, and to be perfectly honest, the probably the person who has the least thankful job in that building, and in my opinion, probably has the worst job in the world, is answering that phone.
Oh, yes. And the phone, of course, has rang off the hook because people can't come in. We're used to people coming in. We have an open door policy. If you have an issue, we'll be glad to talk with you. The same thing with the child support office. So people have been limited just to phone contacts. The phone is our only means of communication, essentially, at this point in time. So we've maintained that phone contact with individuals, trying to address needs they have over the phone. And for the most part, we've been able to do that. If they have a issue where they think a criminal complaint needs to be taken out, we've been able to maintain contact with our Princeton Police Department, our Sheriff's Office. They've been diligent in going and seeing those individuals, assessing those situations. So I can't brag on our law enforcement enough during this time as well.
Well, and she is the most amazing lady. Every time I talk to her, she's just so sweet, and I don't know how she keeps up that demeanor all day, all day long, but she's wonderful. And what I will say, too, is that, it can be very confusing on the public's end as far as we see some things opening up, we don't see other things opening up. The judicial system is a completely different ballgame when it comes to things opening up and things being public and going and moving, because there's so many different sectors involved in one court case.
You're exactly right. And just the courthouse, in a general sense, you have so many offices in the courthouse. You have the PVA office, our county clerk's office, our county attorney's office, our child support office, our judge executive's office, our occupational tax office. So many individuals in the courthouse that provide service to community members. So there's a high traffic area on top of the judicial system and having court cases, on Mondays and Thursdays, and then our circuit court docket. So hundreds of people come in and out of the courthouse each week. And that's went from that to zero. Unless you're employed by the courthouse in the county, no one has been in the courthouse for approximately 2 months. So that traffic pattern has changed dramatically to be able to service those individuals. We did have some communication with our Supreme Court the first of this month. They said they have created 3 task forces, one for our district court system, one for our circuit court system, and then one for our family court system, just to see how they're going to go about opening the court system back up.
Oh, wow.
We've not received any directives thus far, but Justice Minton says that is in the works. He said he is going to stick to that May 31st date. We're not going to be open anytime prior to that date, but they're trying to get plans in place about how court is going to look once we do open back up. So we're patiently awaiting some directive from our Supreme Court from that.
Of course, if you're just joining us, we're currently by phone because we're socially distancing this morning. But we've got Roy Massey, of course, a Caldwell County attorney, here working hard even through all of the coronavirus at WPKY Princeton here on Coffee Talk. And we're talking about what happens, because we had just talked to not too long ago, of course, Mr. Pettit over at the jail. And, even with that, I mean, there's, and of course, Sheriff Stan Hudson, we had him on yesterday. When you're talking about the aspects, we were just considering the different aspects that go into opening it back up.
That's right, and we don't know what that's going to look like. We speculated, that, of course, everyone will have to wear a mask, the public, attorneys, clients. We think that'll be a mandate, some type of PPE in place. But, usually during a court docket that lasts 3 to 4 hours, there's a lot of exchange of papers. I probably have my hands on 15 to 20 driver's licenses every Monday, looking at those documents, insurance documentation. There's lots of close contact with individuals, meetings with individuals, and of course, those probably are not going to be able to take place as the had in the past. So we're wanting some type of directive on how to handle those types of situations once we do open back up for business.
So when you talk about new normal, yours is never going to be normal, in the sense of what we used to do. I think these procedures
I think you're right. I don't think we'll ever get back to the complete normal of walking into a court, shaking a hand, sitting down side by side with individuals, working cases out. If we do, I think it'll be quite some time before that does take place.
Well, and does that change the way you go about doing your job? And as far as your game plan, I mean, does that change?
Well, I don't. We're going to try to be as normal as we can prior to the pandemic taking place. If and when this courthouse opens back up, we are going to welcome in members of the community. If you want to discuss something with the county attorney, you're going to be able to come in and talk to the county attorney. You're not going to have to do that over a phone or over a video conference. There may be some distancing issues, staying behind a countertop. If you're sick, please don't come in. But we're gonna have contact with individuals. If they need to sit down and talk with us, we're going to talk to them.
See, that's why you're personable.
Well,
I had a feeling you'd say that.
I'm one of those people. I enjoy a good handshake, a hug, a laugh, conversation, and it's been a hard on us just like it has been everybody else. No one is used to these type of circumstances. No one foresaw this coming. We're just a piece of the pie, but it has been changing for us. It has been difficult, and we're looking forward to coming out on the other side of it.
Okay, well, I'm going to ask the really hard question. Now, if you've got, because, court cases and things that come up, that is just not going to stop. I mean, that's just the world that we live in. So, if you're somebody that a legal issue comes up, and you say, well, I don't even know what the procedure is anymore. Who do they call? Who's their first phone call to say, look, what in the world do I do now?
They are more than welcome to contact the Caldwell County Attorney's Office. That number is 270-365-5613. If you have a question concerning your case or taking out a criminal charge, we'll be glad to point you in the right direction, whether that be the Princeton Police Department or Caldwell County Sheriff's Office. If you have a current court date or court case on the docket, we'll be glad to contact the Circuit Clerk's Office, Danny Hooks, and they'll be glad to give you that court date and how that's been continued out. And you will be in constant contact with you. Things are going to change. They've been ever evolving the past 2 months. So please feel free to call us at any time with any questions you have about the judicial system.
Well, I know the dockets used to be posted. Is that...
Well, they used to be posted, and they will be posted in the future, but they've changed so much. We've had these directives that we're going to open back up, on April 10th. Then it moves to the 1st of May, and now we're at May 31st. So right now, we're kind of waiting to see exactly what our docket's going to look like. To be completely honest, we don't know what our docket's going to look like as far as court dates go. It's ever evolving as of right now. We're hoping to have court in June. But we're still awaiting some type of directive from the court about how that's going to look.
Well, and instead of it saying courtroom, which courtroom, now it could be like video court or courtroom.
It very much could be. And we've had cases with individuals from the community that are providing testimony. They've been a victim, that we give them a call-in number to a Zoom court hearing, on a Monday morning. I hope that doesn't continue out forever, but we have been doing that in limited circumstances thus far.
Well, I'll tell you, you are certainly a bendable man. And been creative with it. So we appreciate what you do and your continued service to the community, because you really have, had to kind of get outside the box and rethink how to do everything.
Well, thank you, Tess. I do want to say that I'm in constant contact with county attorneys across the state. I know all the counties are dealing with their own unique issues with their residents during this pandemic, and I can say with full confidence I'm very proud of the residents of Caldwell County. We've had very little to no issues during this pandemic about compliance with all the restrictions being put on our residents and our citizens. So I can't speak highly enough about the people of Caldwell County during this time frame.
Well, Sheriff Hudson said that yesterday. He said, we really, it's been so quiet that, he hated to say that. It's usually when things happen. But, for the most part, everybody's been behaving themselves and getting along much more. And
it really has. It's been very impressive to watch during a time like this.
Well, we sure do appreciate you more than what you know. Of course, this is Mr. Roy Massey, Caldwell County County Attorney.
Well, thank you so much for having me this morning. I greatly appreciate it as always.
Give us that phone number one last time.
270 365-5613.
Thank you so much. You have a great day.
You too.
Bye-bye. Of course, County Attorney Roy Massey and for Caldwell County, and we sure do thank him and his entire office and everybody in it for what they do. And, give them a call. I know the dockets are going to be changing, and the way we go about going to court is going to be changing, and it's inevitable. Life is still going to go on, even though there's this COVID-19 thing going on. You still have court cases and you still have legal issues that you have to deal with. So give their office a call, and I promise you won't be disappointed in them. It's 365-5613. Again, Mr. Roy Massey. Again, if you've got something coming up that maybe you need on community calendar, I know our community calendar was fairly long today, but there was a lot of things involved in it. We've got some fun stuff coming up for the rest of the week. We've got some more interesting things coming on for the rest of the week. Kind of the trying to open everything up is not going to necessarily be easy. And all these counties, even the ones butted up against each other, like Crittenden and Lyon and Trigg and all of us, we've got our own time frames and our own way of doing things. So that's all going to be different. So if you're needing updated information, make sure you hit our website throughout the day, WPKYonline.com. And, of course, all of our newscasts, Miss Audrey really stays on it throughout the day, and we'll try to give you all the information as we get it as well. Sometimes that can happen on several times a day. Of course, 4 o'clock, we've got Governor Beshear that'll be on, and, of course, our news follows him, and, of course, we've got noon news as well. Todd's going to be up with sports here in just a little bit, so stick around. There's tons more to come for the day. Be kind to each other, okay? 1580, 103.3 WPKY.
This is Sam Meeks with Bella Marie Boutique. Thank you for voting Bella Marie as the best of Western Kentucky boutique 3 years in a row. We are so appreciative of our loyal customers. None of this would be possible without you all.
Nominate your track and field mom and